Now, I am definitely going off script with this one. I'm stepping outside of my lane. I'm doing something I've never done before on a topic that I actually love. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brandon Ivey. I am a entrepreneur, self-employed educator. I teach crypto education. I run my own education company. And when it comes to social media, I like to stay out of politics, stay out of talking about it because it's not really good for business. I have members of my community that are both Democrats and Republicans that are far left and far right, from the Antifas to the MAGAs. So when it comes to me saying anything publicly, I try to walk down the middle, especially if it's going to impact my business. That's how I always look at things. How is it going to impact the bottom line? But I'm a political science major from Morehouse College, so I love politics. I follow it carefully, daily. And I was looking forward to the debate last night. I canceled all of my meetings and presentations, all of my calls that actually make me money, and said, I'm gonna watch this debate. I'm curious as to how this is gonna play out. A little bit nervous, but not for Joe Biden. I wasn't nervous. You see, Joe Biden asked for this. Joe Biden goaded Donald Trump to do this. This was prime time. This was the main event. It was so big that even the right was nervous. The days leading up to this debate, waiting for or giving excuses to where Donald Trump might want to back out. Donald Trump, the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been looking so good out there on the campaign trail. Some of the things that he's been saying, some of the wild accusations, and we all know, he lies every time he opens his mouth, but even he couldn't get the lies straight anymore. It's Sean Hannity, Fox News, The Five, Jesse Waters. They're all coming up with excuses on why this debate was not going to be in Donald Trump's his favor, from the moderators to the fact that it's being hosted on CNN to that Joe Biden is going to be jacked up on some type of drugs that they need to have a drug test, and it's unfair before the debate even took place. So I was ready to watch the debate with popcorn and have a good old time, right? Red alert. Red alert. Joe Biden only had one job. One job. Look alive. I know that's a low bar to set because we're all alive, but when you're 80 plus years old and you asking the nation to give you 4 more years, you got to show that you've got the stamina, you've got the wit, you've got the energy to be able to lead the greatest nation on the planet for 4 more years. That's all you had to do. And you were actually teed up. It's like Magic Johnson was just passing you the ball, open layups. There's no way you could mess this up. I mean, who are we talking about here? We're talking about a failed president, twice impeached, 4-time indicted, more than 90 felony charges, 34 felony convictions. He's a convicted felon who led an insurgency against the United States government and tried to have a coup, where his own vice president and top aides from his first administration say he is unfit to be president. That's who you're debating against, who lies every other word out of his mouth. That's who you're debating against. And here's the perception from what I saw. The perception is, no, wait, no, no. before I go into the perception, here's the reality. If you were to just take the transcript of what both gentlemen said, Joe Biden won by a long shot. If you just take the transcript, Trump answered no questions. He lied everything that came out of his mouth. It was an easy layup. But if you watch the debate, the perception is Donald Trump won by a landslide. He lied, but he was convincing in his lie. He was energetic. He was focused. Now, he didn't follow what the moderators wanted him to do, but he was focused in his world and his lie and his vision of how he thinks things should be. Whereas Joe, I knew we were in trouble the moment he started walking to the stage and he pointed at the podium. I was like, who's he pointing at? He just pointed at the podium because Trump hadn't even walked out yet. See, I remember the first debate they had where there was always a question, are they going to shake hands or anything like that? And when Biden walked out, instead of shaking hands, he kind of just went like this to Trump. Nobody was on stage, and he's pointing at the podium like, yeah, that's where you're supposed to go. And then he opened his mouth, and you can barely hear him. At first, I thought maybe the mic, they had this thing where they was going to shut off the mic when one's not talking. So I'm like, did they turn Joe's mic on? Was the mic too far away? His voice was very hoarse, raspy, kind of like he was mumbling. Now, I don't have an issue with the stuttering. That's not my issue. We saw him at the State of the Union, but it was clearly that something was wrong. First 30 seconds of him talking, I was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? And Trump picked up on it quick. He picked up on it. So I was nervous about that. And when it comes down to it, that he was actually suffering from a cold and that affected his voice. I don't know if they need to get him some water or what, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And it sent the entire Democratic base into a panic. Like, the Democratic base is not going to change. They're still going to vote for Joe Biden. But this type of a debate is the first time you're going to have all those undecided, all those people in the middle that don't care about politics, never pay attention to it until now. All they saw was an old man who doesn't look like he can carry on the next 4 years. And Donald Trump, animated and excited. And even though they don't know or care that he's lying, whether he was lying or not is irrelevant. That's irrelevant. There was no real live fact checking or anything going on. See, one thing that I learned in business and in communication, and I learned this skill set, that when you're communicating a point, it's not in what you say, it's in how you say it. How you say it, that's the most important thing. And at the end, especially if you're speaking for more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes, most people don't remember what you said or the details of what you said. What they remember is how you made them feel at the end of the day. So if you're a good communicator, you can set them up at the beginning and then you can close them at the end. When I'm presenting and I'm talking business, I got you on the first 5 minutes and I close it out in the last 2 seconds or 2 minutes. And you go home, wow, he made me feel good. I feel a certain way. I don't remember everything that was said, but I feel a certain way. So then you think, after that debate, how do you feel? It doesn't matter what Donald Trump said. How do you feel? And if I'm taking myself out of it and I'm looking at the rest of the field, they're like, well, Donald Trump looks strong and Joe Biden looks like he can't He can't handle it. He can't make it. I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna do any other you know, live reaction videos or anything like that. Like I said, this is out of my lane, but I just wanted to get while this information is fresh in my head on how I feel, because what I saw last night, that doesn't make me feel good about what's going on. I mean, we literally have a man who is attacking democracy, attacking the way things are currently set up because it doesn't favor him, his philosophy, his belief, and his base. So he literally wants to change all of that. Now, you can agree with that direction or not, but that is a fact. He wants to change the system. There's too much at stake to be playing around. Joe Biden would have been best off not debating, period. Then in 2020, they said he was hiding in his basement. Put Joe back in the basement. Put him back in the basement. The good thing, though, for him is that the election is still months away. So this could fade, especially since Trump is still doing a whole lot of talking out there. He'll talk himself right back into trouble, and he's got the sentencing coming up very soon. But this debate didn't do Joe any good, and it just gave more fuel and ammunition to his opponents and the right wing media, and they are gonna run with this like there's no tomorrow until Trump does something really stupid. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to get on record saying that. You guys have a great day. Brandon Ivey out. Bye bye.